You got anything on you?
I'm at my house.
Okay, I don't know. I'm asking you. Gotta ask you. Who's in the car?
This is my car. She took my car.
Who's she for you?
This is my child mother.
Oh, okay. All right.
The victim reported sustaining minor injuries, including visible bruising to her left arm at the time the report was made, and she sought medical attention.
3 serious charges like that, I mean, felony charges, you're obviously potentially looking at prison time and years in prison. And this is something that Gervonta Davis is now going to have to deal with. As
word is spreading that Gervonta Tank Davis is facing serious heat after the FBI supposedly dropped body cam footage from his arrest. And the internet is going wild with theories. Right now, Miami Gardens police in Florida have secured a judge-signed warrant to bring Davis in over what they're calling a domestic violence situation that went down in October
2025 at approximately 2:15 p.m., the victim entered the Miami Gardens Police Department accompanied by her attorney to report an incident that occurred on October 27, 2025. At the time of the incident, the victim was employed at a local gentleman's club located within the city of Miami Gardens. According to the victim's statement, at approximately 4:15 a.m. while working, she was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her co-workers for safety. The victim reported sustaining minor injuries, including visible bruising to her left arm at the time the report was made, and she sought medical attention.
The person who came forward about this incident has been named in legal documents as Courtney Rossell, who used to date Davis. According to police reports, she and Davis had history together, and this whole thing allegedly happened roughly a month after they broke things off.
The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. She stated she had blocked all forms of communication with Mr. Davis after the relationship ended. During the course of the investigation, lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. The victim was only able to escape when Mr. Davis released his hold to retrieve his vehicle.
Here's the thing though, Tank still hasn't surrendered to authorities, and Miami Gardens police are putting in serious work trying to track him down and make the arrest happen.
Annalise, Eric, the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force and Miami Gardens police are currently searching for Gervonta Tank Davis, the professional boxer who has a history of domestic violence charges. In this latest case, he has not yet turned himself in to authorities. Now, at last update, Davis is still not in custody. Local 10 did reach out to attorneys representing Davis to find out if or when he plans to turn himself in. So far, we've not received a response.
This definitely isn't Davis's first rodeo when it comes to assault or domestic violence accusations throughout his boxing journey, and his mounting legal issues have been building up over time.
Followed him for years.
he is one of the most exciting and ferocious fighters in the world, bar none, just period, full stop. But there's always something like this that Gervonta is seemingly dealing with. I mean, he's 30-0-1. He had one draw against Lamont Roach. He's got 28 knockouts. I mean, he virtually knocks out, just spark out cold everyone he fights, but he's got these things that happen to him, and it's already cost him in a massive way financially. The Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight was not ever supposed to happen. That was obviously, like Lucas said, supposed to be Tank. But Jake has to pull out because he gets accused of these really horrible things. And now it just got a whole lot more serious because, look, you could argue Gervonta can afford to lose the money. He's done tremendously well for himself. But when you're talking about 3 serious charges like that, I mean, felony charges, you're obviously potentially looking at prison time and years in prison. And this is something that Gervonta Davis is now going to have to deal with as the U.S. Marshals, like Lucas also said, on his heels, trying to track him down, trying to throw those cuffs on him and bring him into custody.
Tank's run-ins with the law stretch back almost 10 years now. Back in 2017, he got hit with first-degree aggression charges after supposedly getting physical with someone close to him. This whole mess is actually what killed his planned bout with Jake Paul when the lawsuit and accusations came to light.
Or the bout.
Problems. We've seen him in a domestic violence situation. He's been arrested multiple times in the past, and now he's got new problems because the 26-year-old has been hit with 14 criminal charges.
During a sit-down on the Last Stand podcast with Brian Custer, Davis let his guard down emotionally, showing fans a side of him they rarely get to see.
What do you wish that people knew about Gervonta "Tank" Davis that maybe they don't understand?
I'm funny. I'm fun to be around. I'm human. I'm not somebody that's feel as though that's like when I say bougie or stuck up or anything like that. I feel as though a lot of people see that they go off my my boxing, how I am in a ring, and they use that as of
how they make judgment on you.
Yeah, how they make judgment on me. I feel as though that I'm much more of a person than just a boxer. You know what I mean? I feel as though I'm not somebody that's just mean or stuck up 24/7.
That's just who I am when things get tough. You know, dealing with cutting weight and all that pressure. Davis has been upfront before about his anger issues and has made public apologies when his past situations blew up. In various interviews and official statements after his earlier legal drama, he owned up to his mistakes and said he felt terrible about hurting people. Davis made it clear that he's putting in real effort to change by going to anger management sessions, trying to get better at dealing with problems and his emotions, whether he's fighting or just living his regular life. He's mentioned that boxing has always been how he releases stress, but he knows he needs professional help to stop his personal drama from turning into court cases.
Passenger in his car get into a Camaro and flee from the crash scene, which is illegal. That's a hit and run. You're not allowed to do that. Meanwhile, the 4 people in the car that was hit in the accident, like I said, were all hospitalized for their injuries. So there was an investigation that's been going on because this incident went down in November 5th, just days after Gervonta's big knockout victory over Leo Santa Cruz, a sensational performance by Gervonta Davis. So officials have been investigating. They say they have video, they have witnesses, and they have hit him with 14 criminal charges, including hit and run, including driving on a suspended license, and several more. And if convicted on all counts, this is the important part, he could go to prison for more than 7 years. Gervonta Davis, 26 years old, in the prime of his career, could go to prison for 7 years for this. This is a big deal, guys.
Yeah, this is a big deal, and all I think about is the fact that he's constantly been getting in trouble, and so sometimes these things catch up with you. Fleeing a site, I mean, with your actual car there, I don't know how he thought he was going to get away with that because the car's still there. But just for people that are, when there's smoke, there's fire. And as you said, he's had so many different instances, so you kind of figured at a certain point things would catch up with him.
Yeah, look, these are very serious charges. I feel bad that the people got hurt. Ultimately, and this is just a prediction here, I think that Gervonta Davis, he just has so much money behind him and so much money he could possibly make in the future.
Miami Gardens police just confirmed they're teaming up with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to hunt down Davis now that the arrest warrant is official. Working with federal backup shows just how serious this case has become and how badly they want to get Davis in custody, since technically he's a fugitive until he either turns himself in or gets caught. Police are saying they got the warrant after going through security camera footage, talking to witnesses, and checking medical records, which they claim backs up what the alleged victim is saying. Bringing in the U.S. Marshals means law enforcement can cast a much wider net, tapping into resources across the entire country to figure out where he's hiding.
Confirmed. They are working now with the U.S. Marshals
Fugitive Task Force to locate and arrest Gervonta Davis. This doesn't just happen automatically. When someone has an active warrant and law enforcement believes they may be difficult to locate, avoiding contact, or capable of crossing jurisdictions, U.S. Marshals are often brought in. For you guys wondering, what exactly do the U.S. Marshals do? I got you. They are the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the country, operating under the Department of Justice, and they specialize in the following: tracking and arresting fugitives, assisting with high-profile warrants, running joint task forces with local police, protecting federal courts and judges. So when the Marshals get involved, it's not like some small thing. It signals that authorities are treating the situation with a heightened level of urgency.
Tank's most recent legal drama actually got him arrested before this new warrant even dropped. Actor and martial arts expert Michael Jai White shared his thoughts on Davis's earlier arrest, which came from an alleged fight with his ex over personal stuff, including reported drama about their son's sexuality. White said he was shocked and let down that a pro fighter with all that discipline and training could get mixed up in something this heavy, making it clear that hitting women is never okay and being famous or athletic doesn't give anyone a pass for hurting people. He turned the whole situation into a lesson about how bad choices outside your career can destroy your reputation and what you leave behind, drawing comparisons to other celebrity scandals. White hammered home that athletes and famous people have extra responsibility on their shoulders, and situations like this remind everyone that being held accountable matters, whether it's in court or in the public eye.
Violence?
Well,
that's some weird shit right there.
For, allegedly beating up the mother of 2 of his kids. So I guess this happened on Father's Day outside of her home. A verbal dispute happened. I guess what she said is that Gervonta was upset over personal matters and Gervonta having insecurities about the sexuality of their son. So I guess maybe their son might be gay or something of that sort. He showed up to pick up the kids. The argument escalated. And then after Gervonta put the kids in the car, she alleges that Gervonta punched her in the rear of her head with a closed fist and slapped her in the face. Also, they suggested there have been approximately 10 undocumented physical altercations between the 2 of them. He got arrested and he's out on $10,000.
Davis walked free after putting up bond money, reportedly around $10,000. What really caught people's attention was how he left the jail, with corrections officers basically giving him an escort as he bonded out, keeping the media way back, which made some news outlets wonder if he got special treatment compared to how regular defendants usually get released. While officials never came out and admitted to giving him any special privileges, the whole scene got people talking about whether famous people get handled differently by law enforcement during bond situations. Getting out on bond meant Tank could stay free while his legal stuff played out, but it didn't make the accusations any less serious or reduce the legal pressure he was under.
This video shows Gervonta Davis getting a heavy escort before bonding out of jail. Now, some are asking, was this special treatment? Local 10's Leanne Motorhong is outside the jail in West Miami-Dade with much more.
I've been at Local 10 for 15 years, and I don't remember another escort like this one, except for one. A bondsman I spoke to said this type of escort by corrections is not common.
Did you do that?
Boxer Gervonta Davis bonded out of jail on Friday, charged with misdemeanor domestic violence battery. He left through the normal inmate release door, but what was unusual were the 3 corrections officers escorting him, one of them guiding him by the arm as reporters were kept at bay. The scene raised questions about whether this was a form of preferential treatment.
Maybe if it's a high-profile client like an athlete or a politician, you might see that in certain circumstances to keep the crowd control down, but you don't see it very often.
But this time around, the situation has gotten much more intense, with charges that carry real weight. If Davis gets found guilty on these Miami Gardens charges, he could be looking at serious prison time because of how severe these alleged crimes are. The arrest warrant lists felony charges including battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping, which all come with heavy penalties under Florida's legal system. Getting convicted on this stuff could mean multiple years locked up, potentially anywhere from several years to more than a decade. depending on how the judge sentences him and whether his past record plays a role. On top of prison time, a conviction might also mean probation, required therapy sessions, and a permanent criminal record that would mess up both his personal life and his career big time. For someone like Tank, who makes his living as a professional athlete, this could mean losing his fighting licenses, having fights canceled, and losing sponsorship deals, basically putting his boxing career on ice.
I mean, for Gervonta's next fights, his career going forward, well, one, I think he has to focus on this case, right? You know, if he is convicted, it could lead to some jail time, and that's obviously going to postpone any plans he has for any fights in the future. You know, this incident made it so that Anthony Joshua went in and took his spot for the Jake Paul fight that happened a few weeks back last December at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. I know if they do resolve this issue, they work something out, that the next couple of fights for Tank are going to be very much put under a microscope. He's going to have a lot of potentially negative attention, criticism from the public on those fights. I know there's lucrative rematches there for him with Lamont Roach, with Pitbull Cruz, amongst other fighters. The winner of potentially Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez would be a big fight for him as well. But you got to ask yourself too, how are the commissions going to react to this, and if they're going to give any issues to him in terms of licensing him for fights in their state. It's important to say this clearly. These are accusations at this point. He hasn't been convicted of anything.
It's really heartbreaking watching a champion like Tank Davis get wrapped up in this kind of serious trouble just because he apparently can't keep his hands to himself when he's not in the ring. Tank represents one of the most naturally gifted boxers we've seen in years. This is someone who climbed from absolutely nothing to the peak of the sport through pure dedication, giving up everything and incredible natural ability. But situations like this are threatening to tear down everything he's spent years building up. When someone reaches his level of success, they're not just competing for personal glory anymore. They're carrying the hopes of their fans, their family, and building something that should last way beyond any championship belt. Just having these accusations floating around can be devastating, already costing him huge opportunities, sponsorship money, and major fights, which we saw happen when the Jake Paul fight got scrapped. It's like watching him throw away years of grinding and sacrifice over actions that could have been prevented with better impulse control and smarter choices.
The problem with your hands, my nigga. You about to throw everything away because you got a problem with your hands. And I have to say allegedly, but at the same time, it's bad and it doesn't look good for you, Tank, because you got a habit where we actually see footage of you doing the same exact things when you grab that female and at that sports arena. You grab that female by the back of her neck and you dragged her out the same way this female was describing. And see, the sad part about it is, we can all tell that this is about to become a money grab, because if this is a situation that happened 3 months ago, why are you filing charges now? Because it's over with? The relationship is in the garbage? And whoever's advising him is telling him to let you go because everything is getting ready to go in the garbage? It frustrates me and it irritates me that every successful black man, especially the athletes, their downfall is a woman. Tank, you gotta do better. You the best of the best at your game. You're gonna throw everything away, you're gonna have these females sue you and take all your money through lawsuits and put you in jail? And put you in jail, my nigga? Come on, Tank. You got to do better. Hassan Campbell is a Tank Davis fan.
The new arrest warrant for Gervonta Davis represents a serious crisis point in what should be the prime of one of boxing's most marketable stars. Miami Gardens police have put out the warrant covering battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping charges connected to an alleged assault incident, with officers now partnering with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to bring him in. These legal problems have already forced the cancellation of his massive fight, destroying a huge payday and getting fans heated up in debates online. Even though Davis has maintained a perfect record inside the ring, these repeated accusations and increasingly serious charges are starting to eclipse his boxing accomplishments, potentially carrying devastating consequences for both his public image and his boxing future.
I've heard you say that you don't like to bring your family to fights that you feel like are going to be a war. Do you feel like this is a fight that you'll bring your family to?
Nah, I don't think so. Nah, I won't bring them there.
Why? You feel like it's going to be a war?
I think it's more so leave the kids and the woman home.
Yeah,
sure.
And let the men handle business?
Yeah, even my mom's, we gotta stay home.
Really?
But my mom is she's tough, but nah.
See, mom's being at the fight is a mainstay, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen her at the fights, we've seen her talking to you, and you're like, Mom, what's up? You know, and then get back. But even this one,
nah.
No mom deuce.
Nah, it can get ugly.
This is strictly business.
On both sides. This is a 50-50 fight.
What's your take on this whole mess and how it might affect Tank's place in boxing history? Drop your thoughts below.